Welcome to Sonder Sisterhood. Right, Gav? Welcome to Sonder Sisterhood. I'm Carrie, and today we are talking about ways that you can support yourself. All right, ways that you can support yourself through being single and childless, not by choice. It's wonderful when we have supports around us that can be there, listen, validate, be a source of comfort. And sometimes there are moments where we have to support ourselves. And so here are some tips and suggestions that you can do to support yourself. Now, the first one is one that I've been talking a lot about recently on my videos. It's one that's in my mind a lot and that I'm really actively working on. In fact, I told my therapist about some of the content that I made in a previous video about this first suggestion. And she was like, I want you to go back and watch your own video. So I'm in that world with my therapist right now. But it is stop blaming yourself, stop judging yourself, and stop being your own worst critic. Obviously easier said than done. I'm in that land myself. The best way you can support yourself is to not do that stuff. Instead, either give yourself some neutral thoughts or remind yourself of the things that you're doing well, that are going well, that you're looking forward to. Sometimes that's harder to do. If you don't feel like you have anything to look forward to, then focus on the moment and stay in the moment as much as possible. If you're feeling more depressed or you're feeling lower, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes that can mean that you're reflecting a lot on the past or what's behind you. So if you notice yourself with a lower mood, try and think about the future or stay in the moment. If you're experiencing more anxiousness or anxiety-related symptoms, sometimes, not all the time, it can mean that you're focusing too much on the future. And so if that's you, I want you to bring yourself back into the moment and the present day. Example for me, sometimes I'll get really anxious when I think about the future in terms of potentially being alone. One of the things that I try and do is I try and bring myself back into the present. And for me, I focus on the things that I'm looking forward to. Maybe going to the beach with Gavin is what I'm looking forward to this weekend, for example. There are so many other people potentially passing judgment, having opinions. Don't pile on yourself. Treat yourself the way you would treat a friend who is going through a difficult time. One of the things sometimes I say to clients is check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's a song lyric, I can't remember who, but it makes sense. And it's pretty good advice. The next thing you can do in order to support yourself is I want you to build in rest, relaxation, and fun into your routine. Build it in the same way you build in brushing your teeth, as if it's not an option and there's things that you need to do. Even if you're doing them solo, that's okay. You're not the only one in the world doing it solo. And if it's helpful for you to remind yourself that I think that lady on YouTube is probably doing something solo right now too, then do that because I probably am. So if it's helpful, just remind yourself, I bet Carrie's going to the beach on her own. I bet Carrie's trying out that new restaurant on her own, because you're not the only one doing it. And if that helps you feel better, then I want you to remember that. Generally, when we think about our routine, we think about all the things that we should be doing, right? We should be cleaning our house. We should be running these errands. We should be taking care of these responsibilities. I'm not telling you not to do those things, but it's equally important to put in some fun. That's the thing that goes by the wayside. We also often don't think about rest being productive in a way to support yourself, and it is. When I'm working with clients, the thing I remind them and the thing I talk about is when amateurs, and even non-amateurs, but when they're training for a marathon, they build in rest days. They just don't do as many miles as they possibly can the whole time with no rest. No, you're likely going to burn out, injure yourself. You need rest. So build in rest along with fun. It's okay to give your brain a little bit of a break. That is supportive for you. Okay, the next thing you can do to support yourself, and these three things are critical no matter what you have going on in your life. But it's really important to prioritize sleep, nutrition, and moving your body. Lots of things start and end with sleep. If you're not sleeping well, it's going to be really hard to feel like you can withstand the punches mentally. Your distress tolerance gets lower. You're more likely to feel more depression and anxiety. You're more likely gonna kind of talk to yourself in a negative way. Sleep is really, really important. If you're having trouble sleeping, consider some sleep hygiene, reducing caffeine, going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time, reducing screen time at least an hour, 30 minutes before bed. Those are some of those basic things. If you continue to have issues with sleep, consider going to your primary care doctor. Not that I'm talking about they would just prescribe you a medication, but you may be able to talk with somebody in order to help you do some additional sleep hygiene techniques. But sleep is critical. The next thing is food. I struggle with this one. When I get stressed or low mood, food is the first thing that falls off the wayside. I'm going for pad thai and crab rangoon more often than not. Sometimes Italian. Particularly where I'm at right now, there's this restaurant that has the best crab rangoon, and it's all I can do from not door dashing like 2 orders of it every single day. But anyway, food is really important. Fuels your body, fuels your brain. So make sure that you're eating enough, that you're not eating too much, and that you are fueling your body with nutritious foods as well. It will also help you just feel better about yourself, more confident in yourself. And sometimes it can even develop into a bit of a hobby. Maybe you get into a cooking class. Maybe you like looking at different recipes. Maybe some of the cooking shows are things that kind of help you relax or de-stress. Maybe new restaurants start to become your thing. So don't forget food. All right, the next thing is body movement. We have to be moving our body to support ourselves. We just do. It helps in so many different aspects of life. Again, not only physically healthy, but mentally healthy as well. This will help you feel better. The good news is it doesn't have to be these like Orange Theory or these big like boot camp things. It can literally just be walking. It can be getting enough steps per day. You may start to do some exercise, maybe it's a class or you go to a specific studio, and then you might end up finding an added benefit of finding a community there. If there's something that you're feeling like, I might want to try that, now's the time to do it. One of the things that I really like doing is Pilates, reformer Pilates, by the way, and spin class. In fact, I'm in Florida right now and I don't have those communities with me here, and I'm finding it really hard. I'm struggling with that a little bit. So I have signed up for a Pilates place, but I'm definitely missing my cycle bar. I know those come with a cost, and so don't underestimate the value of walking. All right, so make sure sleep, nutrition, and body movement are right up there. The other thing that kind of slides into this category is making sure that you're staying hydrated as well. All right, the last thing that I would suggest for you to support yourself is invest in a therapist. I've been saying this one a lot too. A lot of insurances cover therapy. Consider it. Your primary care office might have a therapist. Even if you Google therapy group practices, you'll likely be able to find one. Psychology Today is a resource. Please consider finding a therapist if you feel like you're really struggling and you're like, you know what, I will do these things to support myself, but it just doesn't always feel like enough. You don't have to do it all on your own. I'm of the mindset we should be having a therapist in the same way we have a primary care doctor. Like everyone just kind of has one that they can go to when they need to. Maybe you see them more extended periods of times. Maybe you see them for more shorter bursts of time. Please consider seeing a therapist. Whatever stigma you feel about seeing a therapist, please consider reworking that. Again, it's about your health. You have a primary care provider. It's okay to have a provider for your mental health as well. If you think nobody in your life sees a therapist, you're probably wrong. I see a ton of people where it's not something that people broadcast. So consider seeing a therapist. All right, so those are the things you can do to help yourself, a couple of things you can do in the moment, and then some other things that you do more on an ongoing basis. Let me know what you do to support yourself in the comments below. We're building a community here at Sandra Sisterhood. And so when you put helpful comments like that in the comment section, I know other people are looking at those and they are also able to benefit from the things that you have found that have worked for you. Don't forget to subscribe to Sandra Sisterhood. This is a YouTube channel for the single and childless, not by choice person. Thanks for watching.